Hey everyone, so I posted a video a couple of weeks ago that was the first sit down video with me and my husband, with him sharing what his Dave Ramsey experience was like. And I got a lot of really great feedback from that video. A lot of people had more questions that they wanted me to answer, and basically more detail about how I got him on board. So I came up with 3 things that I did during the time that I was trying to get him on board that I honestly feel helped me to get him on board. So the first thing is I backed off. So when I first brought home the idea of Dave Ramsey, I was crazy gazelle intense. You couldn't tell me nothing. I mean, that's all I was thinking about. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I was talking about. I would walk through the house and kind of point at things that, we could sell and try to, pay off our debt, and, just all these things that my husband was just not okay with. He was not on board with, because most of the stuff that I was trying to sell was stuff that was his, but it was just all this stuff that we had around the house, and of course like baby furniture that I had and things that I had as well, but he just had some more expensive stuff that would bring in some quick money. So I was trying to sell some of that stuff. He wasn't on board, and I just realized that the more and more I pushed this Dave Ramsey stuff, the further and further I actually pushed him away. And I realized probably about 6 months after I first discovered Dave Ramsey was that I had to back off, because if not, I was just never going to get him on board. And so if you are in a situation where you are super fired up and you are ready to go right now, and you're ready to sell everything, and you're ready to change your life, and your husband's not there, I think that intensity probably scares them a little bit. In fact, I know it does, because I can totally understand that if your husband came home with this whole new way of doing things, and especially when it comes to something that's kind of important like finances, or if it's anything, it can freak you out. And so I realized that I had to back off a little bit, because I was never going to win him over. So I started to realize that more and more I backed away and kind of didn't mention Dave Ramsey as much, or, the idea of getting out of debt, but I still brought it up often enough to where it was something that he knew was still on my mind, but it wasn't an every single day, every conversation, it's something about Dave Ramsey getting out of debt, whatever. I had to back off in order to allow him a little bit of time to kind of take this information in, let it sink in, let him, process it on his own. Let him seek out Dave Ramsey on his own. And that, I feel honestly, is what helped kind of bring him back around to getting on board with Dave Ramsey. Okay, so the second thing that I did was, after he started to listen to Dave Ramsey a little bit on his own, and I could see him coming around a little bit more, and he was willing to do the budget, I had to be okay with personal spending money. If it were me getting out of debt and I was a single person, I would probably give myself $10 a month, and that would just be to maybe grab Starbucks twice, or grab something to eat one day, or whatever it may be. I would be so crazy, insane, intense that I would just really not even need any personal spending money. And so when we first started to do the budget, that's exactly how I was trying to do it. We wrote down all the numbers, and next to my husband's name and next to my name, I was putting 0 for personal spend money, and he was not okay with that. And for me, it was just kind of challenging, because all I could think about was paying off the debt, paying off the debt, paying off the debt. But I realized that there was this other person there who had opinions and thoughts and wanted to do things a certain way, and I had to be okay with letting some of that stuff go. And so when we started to do the budget, I had to be okay with personal spend money. But what I also had to do was not just be okay with him having personal spend money, because I tried that and it didn't work. I tried to say, okay, well, you can have $100, but I don't want anything. And he would say, nope, that's not gonna work. You have to have money, I have to have money. If we're gonna do this, we have to be healthy about it, and we have to have some pocket money. You just can't walk around with no money ever for the next year. It's not healthy. And I realized, as much as I didn't wanna agree with that, he was right. And so I had to be okay with certain categories maybe not being exactly how I would want them to be, and I had to be okay with us using some of our money instead of paying off the debt to have a little bit of walking around money, because if not, then it was just going to drive us insane. And the last thing is, I allowed him to be involved with the budget. Now, I know that sounds a little controlling, and it's because I might have a little bit of an issue with being a control freak, but I knew that if I was going to get him on board 100% and to move forward with paying off our debt, I had to let him in when it came to our budget and having a little bit of control over it, because I'm very territorial about certain things, and I just don't like it when people kind of barge in and mess things up, and I just don't like that. But at the same time, if I wanted to get him on board and involved, he had to also have an opinion when it came to the budget, and that was really hard for me to let go of. And I remember one time we went to go sit down to do the budget, and he sat down in the main computer chair, and he was, you know, clicking away on my Excel spreadsheet. He was changing things and moving things around, and I'm sure my eye was over here like twitching, and I was just trying my best to like allow him to do these things and not say anything. And you know, because it's you know, he had to bring 50%, I had to bring 50% if we were going to make this work. So there was a few things that I had to let go of. The control issue that I had when it came to the budget and the numbers and everything, I had to let that go. I had to be okay with spend money. I had to be okay with, you know, putting certain money aside to pay for things, and you know, instead of just putting it all towards the debt, I had to realize that there was other things that we had to do, you know, before that, or you know, whatever it may be. So I think that that's a really important part, is that if you're anything like me and you have your little pretty Excel spreadsheet and it's all colored and coordinated with all the different little numbers and the formulas and all those things, and your husband comes in and he just wants to totally wreck it, it might be worth it just to get him involved and to praise him while he's doing it, because he's sitting there with you, you know? I mean, he could totally be, you know, blowing this off, but if you've got him sitting there and he's writing it down on a piece of paper, if he's, you know, typing it away on a keyboard on an Excel spreadsheet, if he's there and he's involved and he has opinions and thoughts about things that he might want to change, or he might want to add more money to certain categories that you may not agree with 100%, it might be worth it just to kind of agree with it and to kind of let some stuff go, because you're both winning. And that's the big thing, is that you're both working together, you're both kind of getting what you want, and you're both winning. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, these were just 3 things that I could think of that I felt like helped really get my husband on board. And thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.